Hello and welcome to another pattern recognition video featuring 10 puzzles. All of these will have the in-between move tactic, also known as the intermezzo or Zwischenzug, if I pronounce that correctly. So let's begin here. If you're not familiar with chess pattern recognition, basically you solve a series of puzzles once, nice and slow, and then you go back and do them multiple times. That way, each time you go through them, you try and solve them faster, and it helps burn those patterns into your memory. So hopefully you can use them in your games. So what happened here? We have a bishop that just captured, I think it captured a pawn here. Now, you would think, well, the knight could just take, but if that happens, then your rook will be captured. So what do you do here? Take a look at this. Pause at any time if you need more time to think. All right. Well, a lot of times these in-between moves feature a check because if you're looking at what move to make, checks, captures, and threats are something you want to keep an eye on. Checks first because they're most forcing. So hopefully you found the answer here. We can move the rook over, delivering a check to the king. And if the king moves, well then we can just pick off that bishop next without fear of the rook taking our rook. So check, and then we just grab that, going ahead by that knight. And hopefully with our extra knight we can stop these pawns, start picking them off, and win the game. All right, and I have this set a little bit more difficult than the first Zwischenzug video that I did. So in that, I think I had it rated 100 to 1,000, so I bumped it up a little bit. These are rated 300 to 1,200. So on to puzzle number 2. Let's see what we have. A rook is attacking our bishop. Okay. So the obvious move would be to move this bishop. All right, if we have a good in-between move, it often involves what? A check. But here, I don't know, the obvious move is to get that bishop out of the way. I mean, if we go there, they'll recapture, and then that gives us time to take this rook. Do we have anything better? I don't know. That looks to be the way to go. I don't know. That looks to be the best move. If we go there, what can our opponent do? They're probably going to take, and we're behind by a piece already. So if we go there, or sorry, if they recapture, then that just gives us time to take there. So I think that works. All right. And that was rated 1164. So, I hope you found that one. Some of these, they're all supposed to have Zwischenzug or intermezzo in between moves involved. But sometimes, these are random puzzles on chess.com if you're interested. And sometimes the examples, are better or worse. So let's see what puzzle number 3 has in store for us. Okay. The knight has just moved forward, attacking, or sorry, capturing a pawn. Now, as far as material, we're down by a pawn, but it looks like, we have to figure out what to do here. This knight could capture our knight. So, if we take, they could take our queen, pulling us away, and then have a threat of maybe jumping forward with their knight and trying to fork. So why don't we do that to them instead? Pause the video if you want to calculate this out in your head. If not, I'm thinking we take their queen first, forcing their king to move over. Then we can take that knight, and we're threatening a fork ourselves of the king and the rook. So there we go. All right, so that's what they wanted. All right, on to problem number 4. What do we have here? A knight has jumped forward and is applying pressure to our bishop, which is unprotected. And then if that's captured, we would have a fork on our rook and our queen. So what do we do here? Well, we go ahead. Oh, okay. This is a little better example of an in-between move here. So pause the video if you want to look at this further. If not, here we go. We're going to take that knight. Then their queen will be attacked and unprotected. So they'll probably take our queen, perhaps, thinking that we would have to take back. But first, we can move our knight with check and save it, and then take the queen. So capture, we move our knight, saving it, and then that gives us time to take the queen, and now we're just ahead by an extra minor piece here, the extra knight. All right, on to problem number 5. Pawn is pushed forward, attacking our queen, which was protecting the knight. So looks like we have to do something about our queen that is under attack. Where do we go, though? How do we save that knight? And do we just go after the queen with our knight? All right, so this one's a little trickier. Oh, we also have this threat to watch out for, the knight forking, taking that pawn and forking our king and rook. So what should we do here? We could just take the queen. If they take our queen, then what do we do? We take their other rook. So maybe that works. We take the queen. They take our... Oh, wait, we can't take the rook. We're over there. Okay, we take the queen. They take our queen. Now what? Well, we have to watch out because our opponent has an in-between move. If we take the queen, they could go here. Okay, so maybe a better move. Well, if we try and move down here and check, then the king will just capture there. Oh, and if he does, no, we don't really have a good follow-up. Hmm. All right, well, maybe we check this way first. And the knight will be protected. The queen could take that. No, the knight would capture the queen. So maybe that's the best move. Push forward with the pawn, protecting our knight with our bishop. Puts the king in check, so it's the most, one of the most forcing moves. So attack the king. What do they do? Probably bring this pawn forward and capture, but then that gives us time to go here with check and then take the queen, I think. So there we go. And they're not even going to show us anymore. So now our knight is protected. What do? If they, I don't know, there's still a lot going on here, but the king is in check, so whatever they do next, we also have, well, not whatever, but we have this move as well, checking, and then, all right, well, I don't want to drag the video out too long, but that's the move. You can look at it yourself if you want to dig deeper. So I need to finish the next 5 puzzles. So on to puzzle number 6. What happened here? A queen just captured. The obvious move would be what? To recapture that queen, but maybe we have an even better move. So hopefully you found the answer. Take a look. If you're ready, here we go. So we're going to jump the knight up and check first. So another example of why it's so important to look at the checks first. And that'll force the king onto the H file here, and then we can capture the queen with mate. So check, and then a mate, because the knight is preventing the king from going here or here, and the rook is delivering the mate. So that's a great little pattern there. All right, on to problem number 7. Our knight has just been captured, so the move you would think would be to just recapture this knight. But perhaps we have something even better here, an in-between move. But which one? Generally, we want to look at checks first. So pause the video if you need more time to think. If not, here we go. So we're going to capture the bishop, delivering check. When a king is in check, there are 3 options. Capture the attacker, and that wouldn't be possible once we move our bishop here, capturing their bishop. So the other 2 options are to run or to block. Now, if they block attacking our bishop, well, then we can capture the knight, and we're targeting, we would actually be targeting the rook. So they would probably have to block that. And then that would give us time to retreat our bishop. So there we go. Now we're targeting the rook. So they just go ahead and capture. Now we can capture, and we're ahead in material there. All right, on to puzzle number 8. Queen is launched forward here, attacking our queen, trying to trade off, and maybe use this powerful passed bishop here that's 1 move away from promoting. But if the queens are traded, our king should be able to get over here, unless we take and they take and we try to move forward and they bring the rook over here to cut off our king. But then that doesn't work because we would just take this pawn. So what do we have here? And it's also a check. Oh, okay. Well, you would think that we would just go here. But the in-between move is that we go ahead, and I'll pause the video if you need more time to think, as always. If you're ready, here we go. The in-between move is to capture this pawn first, because the queen, our queen is pinning their queen. So they could try and take our queen, but then we have another in-between move before we capture the queen back, and that's by capturing their rook with check. So let's take a look at this. Capture. Now our in-between move is to capture with check and then go here. So that was a great little example kind of multiple in-between moves there. All right. Puzzle number 9. We're getting down to the end here. The knight has jumped forward. What do we want to do? We have, we were attacking their knight, but now they have 3 attackers and we only have 2 defenders of this knight. So what can we do? All right. Well, since they have 3 attackers on our knight, we only have 2 defenders. We could add another defender, but then they could attack, push forward and add a 4th attacker. If we drop back, attacking their queen, does that do anything? Oh, also, maybe we have something better here. See how our queen is lined up on their king, and that's usually a good strategy to line up a more, line up a piece on a more powerful piece or more valuable piece. So the queen is lined up on the more valuable king. So maybe, well, can we go here, taking that? If they take, well, then we can take. All right, so quite a bit more going on here. Let's check this out. If we take here, they could go there. They'd be attacking our queen and our rook. So what do we do next? We just capture. Their other rook captures. What is the best in-between move? If we go back here, we'd be attacking the queen, but then they could start capturing here. We would be forced to capture. They would capture. I don't know. I'm thinking maybe this is the move here because it removes the protector of this rook. And then we have 3 attackers and they only have 1 defender of the rook. So they would probably start capturing. So anyway, to keep the video moving along, I'm going to try this move. Okay, that's what they want. The only thing, if they go here, that would attack our queen. So, all right, I'm going to pull up the analysis just to get a better look at this. So they go there, we take. Now the best thing is, wow, queen takes d3. Okay, what if they just go here? Well, now you have knight takes b5 check. And if they take that, well, then you have this move. King is in check. Oh, and it would be mate as well. All right. So anyway, you can look at that further if you want to explore all the tactics. But let's move on to the final problem, puzzle number 10. I hope you did well today. The knight has just captured a bishop, so the obvious move would be just to recapture. But we have an in-between move first. So pause the video, see if you can find it. If you're ready, here we go. Remember, checks are very powerful, especially in these in-between moves. So if we capture here, it's with check. The king can only move over, and that gives us time to take the knight there, and we would just come out ahead in material. So capture, and then another capture. All right. Well, I hope you did awesome on these 10 puzzles. Feel free to leave comments, like and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and have a super chess day.